Hey BookTube, welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host Peg, and I am here today to provide my final selections for Historathon 2023. It's been a while since my last update, or my pile of possibilities. In the meantime, I've just been so tickled pink and pleased, and just watching tons of Historathon videos that booktubers in the group are putting out. Also, just the wonderful conversations and recommendations and dialogues happening on our Voxer group and our Discord group. And I'll see if I can link those below in the comment section in case you want to join us. But yeah, what did I decide on? Well, I had a pile of possibilities. I have 3 here, but I'm only going to really select 2. I think the other one I'm going to have to wait until I have more time. But it was a no-brainer for me. So the one I've just started reading for the first quarter, covering prehistory through 500 AD. I had to go with this. This is just too juicy to pass up. So we've got Weavers, Scribes, and Kings, A New History of the Ancient Near East by Amanda Padani. So sorry, it's Amanda Padani. It's a big chunkster of a book. Just the introduction right now, I'm in the introduction, and I'm really enjoying how she's kind of making it seem, or making the connections to just how relatable people in ancient times are they're still human beings, and talking about someone's bill. She found this, or she didn't find it, but someone else did. There's a piece of cuneiform written 3,800 years ago, and it's a letter apparently, and it's about someone demanding for their money back for services not rendered or something like that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, even 3,800 years ago, people still kind of knew where to take it to customer service. So I'm pretty stoked about this. Gosh, gotta get this right. New camera, sorry. So Weavers, Scribes, and Kings, I will be tackling that through March. My other final selection, just because it's so titillating to me, no pun intended, it is Women at War in the Classical World by Paul Crystal. Just kind of making my final decision, I realized going through here, flipping through the different chapters, he has a lot of interesting kind of chapter headings that I'm intrigued by. He talks about warlike women. He also talks about, again, a lot more troublesome things, as how militaries across the world and the other atrocities that happened in the classical world, such as war. He calls it war rape in the chapter. Yeah, that's not going to be a fun chapter to read by any means. But he covers them as warriors, as victims, as warriors in war, victims in war, and also covers just where they fit in with Roman history and other foreign, outside of Rome, probably Eastern elements of female warriors. So I'm just really intrigued by this. So I'm going to be reading this book along with Weavers, Scribes, and Kings. Woo! To kind of tackle the prehistory through AD 500. Now, the close runner-up, I just want to say, is this book right here. I'm still really intrigued by this, and I want to read it. And I will. It's War Before Civilization, The Myth of the Peaceful Savage by Lawrence H. Keeley. As I was examining it more closely after my last video, it does talk about, ancient and prehistory civilizations, or maybe not even civilizations so much as just individual warriors and people in the wild, and how they. It's almost like a work of anthropology as well, but it also leaps through time, and then it goes on into 19th century, and I just didn't think it fit the rubric of prehistory to AD 500. So, still, a fascinating title, and I want to check it out, but I'll save that for another time. All right, guys, so what do you think of my final selections? And I'd like to know in the comments below what you guys are reading for Historathon 2023. Again, there's been so much to follow in the Discord group, Voxer messages, and then just tons of videos and people just recommending things. My TBR has gotten very long indeed. But yeah, I think we've got some winners here. Let me just read a little bit of this beginning of Weavers, Scribes, and Kings to you, because I think you'll get a better feel for just how much fun this is going to be to read, but also very enlightening. A few years ago, the world discovered E. Nasr. An article by an archaeologist named Christina Kilgrove in Forbes magazine was titled, "Meet the Worst Businessman of the 18th Century BC." Kilgrove detailed the financial problems of a merchant, E. Nasr, who lived in a big house in the city of Ur in what is now Iraq. She made a strong case for his ineptitude. The whole intro just made me laugh. Quoting from letters that he had received from unhappy customers, people who were at their wits' end trying to get him to send products they had been promised or refunds for goods he hadn't delivered. And we've all been there, right? Kilgrove quoted one letter in full. It had been written by a man named Nani, and it reads like an angry diatribe to a complaints department. In the middle of his letter, Nani wrote, "Who am I that you are treating me in this manner, treating me with such contempt? I have written to you to receive my money, but you have neglected to return it." So I kind of want to borrow that next time I have to write a nasty letter to a customer service department. Who am I that you are treating me in this manner? Why do you treat me with such contempt? It's fascinating. She goes on to say real quick, the remarkable thing about this frustrating case of incompetence is that both of the men involved have been dead for many thousands of years. E. Nasr lived almost 3,800 years ago. Just think how long ago that is. It's hard to wrap your mind around it. He lived 2,400 years before the time of Muhammad in the beginning of Islam, 1,300 years even before the founding of the Roman Republic. And yet, as the article showed, we recognize E. Nasr. He's the vendor who fails to reply to our emails and phone calls. And any of us might have written Nani's letter. We just wouldn't write it in cuneiform script on a clay tablet. Indeed, so that gives you the flavor of this book, which is just going to be a joy to just journey through. Again, it just made me laugh. And it just makes, those people from the time, in the mists of time so far back, makes them very relatable. So I'm going to enjoy this book, I think. And I'm happy to report back on it as the first quarter of Historathon 2023 ends. But in the meantime, these are my final selections. We've got Weavers, Scribes, and Kings by Amanda Padani, and Women at War in the Classical World by Paul Crystal, put out by Pen and Sword. And then this big, beautiful book, again, Oxford University Press. God, I love their stuff. Love it. All right, guys, well, let me know what you think, and I hope to talk to you soon. I hope to see your comments in the review section, and till next time, take care and be well.